Yeah, so that was the video, and believe we can now open up to any questions if there are any. And thank you so much for the great comments in the chat. I haven't been able to follow all of it. I've been busy brewing tea and been scared of touching anything on the computer in case it would break the playback. And I will also share the Resolve window now for the actual editing project, just so I can easily use it, reference it when needed. But yeah, if there are any questions, I guess people can raise their hands. Is that the best way to do it here, maybe? Or writing in the chat if they do not have microphones or do not feel comfortable with it?
Looks like Vivi has a question.
Okay, just give me 1 minute here to share the actual Resolve project here. If I can, there we go, awesome. Yeah, there we go, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Great video. I have been watching it for many times. Well, you mentioned that you are maybe making some Ginga related videos in the future. Have you been planning any yet?
Yes, I have actually. I guess I was planning on mentioning that at the very end, but since it is mentioned, might as well do it now. Let's see here, I'll just get to the right section. There we go, which I made right before the panel. So that is what I have planned for hopefully this year, hopefully 2022, but things rarely go as you plan. But I have a Silver Fang cocktail video that is filmed. I hope to release this year. I have a couple of pictures of it that I can also show. A merchandise video, even though I don't have nearly as much cool stuff as I think most people have here, but I do have a few items, and then both official and fan-made merchandise. And the final one, which is probably the most interesting one, I'm not, a bit unsure about the title there, but I'm just calling it "Did You Know?" ... for now. The idea is to collect a few more niche facts, factoids about Silver Fang and the franchise. Like, for example, something that I became aware of last year that my boyfriend from Finland showed me. There is a Finnish rap that was released a few years ago that samples one of the tunes from Silver Fang, which I think is really cool and random. And that's something you don't necessarily stumble over yourself when you're, first getting into it and getting exposed to the series. That's more of a niche thing. So collecting those types of facts. Yeah, and at the bottom there, I'm just mentioning that if people want to find my stuff on YouTube or follow me on Twitter or whatever, I can just search for Miles TF Baxter. And any engagement there is always appreciated. And here are a couple of pictures from the cocktail video. And final one, which is not from the actual recording, that one was made afterwards. It ended up looking even better than the version that was recorded. That's often how it goes. But for those who know cocktails, it's just a take on the gimlet cocktail, using the very clever pun ginlet, ginlet. So just replacing the M with an N. So yeah, those are the things that I have planned. I do have other ideas for the future. So there might be 2023 and onwards, there might be some other videos as well.
Awesome. There is a question in the chat that's, how long did the production of this video take? How long did you brew the idea before actually jumping into the actual video process?
That is a tricky one. I can't say that it took a lot of time. But I was working on it in chunks. I wasn't sitting down and working on it 8 hours a day for X amount of weeks. So it makes it a bit hard to measure. very rough estimation, 100 hours plus minus is sort of what I feel like, but it is hard to say. But video editing does take a lot of time. There are a lot of small elements, especially when you start getting ambitious. Trying to think of anything I can show to as an example. Well, I guess I guess I can go to the covers place here. The Danish cover here, the lovely Danish cover. That one, to get that one, I needed to get a copy of the actual VHS. As I mentioned during the video, I got some help from friends. So I had a Danish acquaintance who got it for me on Danish eBay after I found it there. dba.dk or something it's called. So he bid on it there for me. But then of course I needed the actual cover in some way. So he was planning on scanning it at his university. Since he's a student, but of course they were closed due to COVID at the time. So then he went to his mother, who was supposed to have a scanner, but it was either not working or she had sold it or something like that. So suddenly he didn't have a scanner. So then he ended up having to take a picture of it with his mobile phone. And that's not the greatest quality. So then I sent it to my boyfriend, who works with graphic design, to help with the color correction and making it look better. So something that's that you think is small, just getting this asset ended up involving 3 different people from 3 different countries, spanning several weeks. So just that's also why it makes it a bit tricky to give a super accurate estimation of these types of things, since you have so many elements like that. But hopefully that gave some sort of answer indication on the amount of work.
Yeah, let's see. Then we have any pics of the last 2 with just silver on? I love looking at the logos. Tora, could you clarify what last 2 you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm a bit unsure if they mean
This
is
might be the credit one with again there. Maybe, not sure.
You can also get that. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it was in the chat that when I talked about what the Danish title of it was, not Silver from the beginning, but Hundevalpen Silva.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have lots of studying of the Nordic or Scandinavian more.
Yeah, so that translates to, for those that don't know the language, the puppy Silver on New Adventures, very representative of the series. And that is another video that I hope to make in the future, but that really depends on what I'm able to get. But looking at even more of the interesting DVD and VHS covers, I do really want to get all the Danish ones and all the other ones that I don't have, but they're a bit difficult to track down, as you can imagine, and can get expensive as well.
No kidding.
And also,
unfortunately,
I don't know if you've ever looked at the Korean covers. They are an overload of just Gin copy and pasted all over these covers. It's hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to look into those.
Have to look at those too. Let's see. Next question. Will there be a future video maybe talking about Yoshi's history related to Ginga, like when he first published the series and some of the series created prior to Gin?
Yeah, I don't have anything planned right now. There might be, you never know what will happen in the future, but I want to get through the videos, video ideas I mentioned already before I tackle something like that. And that's also something I don't know much about personally. I haven't done too much research into that part of it, but that's definitely an idea. I will make a note in my idea book about it. So thank you.
We have a hand raised by K of Chaos. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I got the first covers.
Ooh.
If you're interested.
Ooh, awesome. Yeah, I definitely would be. definitely would be. So you can maybe, if you have Twitter or something like that, or
Sure, I'll find you.
Discord. Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I would love to have them on the Giga Wiki as well.
Yeah.
And I am happy to share any of these cover assets. By the way, I have already shared a few of them on my Patreon, not behind like a paywall or anything. You can make things public there, since they're not content that I made myself. So it would be a bit sleazy and awkward to try to charge people for that. But I have already shared a few of the covers there, and I plan to gradually share more as I have the time of the cover assets that I do have. Which I would be happy to share with the wiki, or for them to just download themselves.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Next from Arno, not so much a question, but I'd love to see you do a similar video about the Ginga Densetsu weed anime.
That is also a possibility. It would be a very different video, of course, since this one covers the talks a lot about the Nordic impact and the follow-up. You know, it is in the, what should I say, in the shadow of, in the footsteps of the series, so that sort of laid the foundation. So it wouldn't be so much talking about the Nordic aspect of the series, I think, but I would love to do a video about it in the future. And that's another video idea I have, is to do episode breakdowns of the original series, and then eventually doing it of the follow-up series. So eventually.
Cool. Also, if people who aren't currently talking, if you could mute yourselves, that'd be great. We had some stuff coming through. So let's see. Next question by Urban Banner. Do you think this series could have been done today? In fact, would the series benefit a retelling?
It could be done today. Do you mean just as an like an anime series in and of itself, or do you mean particularly being released in the Nordic countries? And also, hi Urban, nice to see you here. But yeah, at least
maybe talking about, like, you know, there are certain parts that are a bit tricky to do today. Like, okay, they just said, would they allow an old man to beat a dog with a log?
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I think it would be trickier. It would definitely be trickier here in the Nordic countries, and I imagine it would also be in Japan, but I don't really know current contemporary Japanese culture enough to say that. But there is definitely some aspects of not great dog treatment there, which definitely might be harder to sort of get away with, even though it's not. Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's sort of, like, it's not presented as something positive in the series, but it is presented as something that does make him stronger. So it's a tricky one, and I don't think I can give a clear answer. But I think definitely in the Nordic countries that would be a lot harder to fly. It would probably be even more cut than the version that was released.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. Does anyone else have any questions?
I do also have a few things I can talk about if we, like, while people are considering their questions, unless there's anything more lined up right now.
Yeah, go right ahead, and I can chime in if anyone posts something in the chat.
Yeah, I can just, the audio should be working now for the actual resolve. I think I set the settings right there. So I'll just play a part of the introduction here that you heard during the video, just as a reminder. Yeah, hopefully that was heard. Hopefully there was audio.
Yes, there was.
Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, so that was, of course, a cover. excuse me, a cover of the Tomorrow tune from the anime, and that involved. Let's see, I can just find the spot in the credits actually. Where is it? Is it? There we go. So it involved 4 different musicians from 4 different countries, and the violinist there, Fossi, who's a Norwegian, and he actually plays in the Norwegian opera orchestra, which I think is really neat. I think that's more or less as high as you can go as a violinist there in Norway, as far as I know. So I just think that's a really neat little thing that I can sort of brag about, like that. Ooh, I have a real musician from the Oslo Opera Orchestra here. And another example of how these things can take time when you start getting ambitious, since I could have just played some random tune here, something pre-made, but I thought it would be more fun and interesting to actually make a cover from the ground up. Which takes time, takes coordination, adds to your own workload. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, that's super cool. Do have a question from Lingo. Did you do the art for your little drawn flashback in the video? Sorry, then Derpkid just pops up. The one where you find it in the video store. Did you draw that?
I will. Let's see where. I'm just trying to find it here. Do I have it in?
And also on top of that, Flan is also asking if you drew the image of Gin in the end credits.
Okay. Well, I no to both of them. I did not draw them. But here's just to show it off. It's the first image from the rental store, and these are by Rexham, actually, who should also be here in the chat. Who is an artist and my boyfriend from Finland. So he drew these. These are also available on my Patreon, by the way, if anyone wants to, I don't know, print them out and frame them or something. So I thought he did a great job on this. I feel very nostalgic, very representative of sort of my experience there. And for the, I'm trying to find the introduction again, the end credits. Since I can't remember their name off the top of my head, this image here, which was also used for the thumbnail, yeah, that was made by Calico Pikachu, who I randomly found on Twitter was doing taking commissions for draw over pieces, if that's what they're called, for Silver Fang and also the Veed series, and they have done a lot of great stuff. So if you search for their name on Twitter, maybe also in Google, but it's a Twitter where I found them, you will probably find them as well, and definitely recommend commissioning them if anyone is keen on pieces like this. They have a lot of very awesome draw over type content.
Awesome. Like kind of tempted to do that for Silver Fang Network.
Yeah.
It'd be a fun one.
Yeah. Also have one, let's see here, it's over here. Yeah. Can to the tune of while watching Derpy Gin here, I can also play a bit more of the tune that was playing during the covers compilation of the Weird Designs, which, as maybe some people recognized, it was a cover version of The Winner Takes It All by ABBA, and it was actually on, I found it on a CD I found at the local flea market, and the CD is a recording from a church of various children's bands, like from schools, marching band type bands, covering ABBA. And of course, it's understandable that they are, not exactly, they have yet to become masters of their instruments. But I thought it was very, very neat and appropriate. So I'll just play a bit of it here while we enjoy Derpkin. That's maybe enough. It's better than I could definitely do with those types of instruments. And while editing, speaking of derp stuff, I did find a few that fans probably already know of, a few cool or ironically cool frames. So that's what you start noticing a lot of stuff when you do edit episodes, when you scrub the material and when you look through it, trying to find sections that you can use for video. Here, of course, you have a very lack of detail on those background characters. Hyena looks fine there. The others, not so much. This one is like great detail on the face, not so much on the body. Here it looks like Gin might need a few more hours of sleep. Looking at his face. Here Gin looks very uncomfortable being petted there. And this is the final one I have in that collection. That's probably a classic.
Yep, that's classic. See, both Lingo and Explicitly Art have offered to draw something for you for future videos.
Ooh, that would be very awesome. And again, would be, let's see, I'll just just go to here again. Yeah, so if people have Twitter, or they can also find me I am on the Silver Fang Network Discord. You should probably be able to find me as Miles there, but feel free to send me a DM on Twitter or contact me on Discord. That would be awesome. There's so much great talent out there in the fandom, which is a lot of fun, and it makes these types of projects a lot more enjoyable as well when you can use that type of talent, both to make your own content better, but also to showcase, be able to show off the talent that is out there.
Awesome. Miles, do you attend US cons, furry or anime?
No, I do attend. Well, before the pandemic, attended conventions in Europe occasionally. I've not yet been to the US. I haven't attended anything there, and I don't think, unfortunately, I'll be attending anything there in the near future. But I have been to a few different anime as well as furry conventions here in Europe, in different countries.
Okay. Have you ever attended NarCon in Sweden? If I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, NarCon. Yes, I have not, but I'm aware of it, and would definitely be open to attending it in the future. I have heard, and maybe that's something I can put in my "Do you know?" video, that they have had like a Silver Fang shrine or something they've called it, that they've had a room or something dedicated to Silver Fang through various years. That would definitely be cool to include in such a video and also know more about. So if anyone has an experience with that, that would also be great if they could contact me. I would love to see some pictures for them from that, or just get some more information.
All right. From Urban Banner, any idea why Collie Wilson was brought in the series in such a clumsy yet memorable way?
Wait a minute. Who is Collie Wilson again? And that's something I must admit I'm not.
That was the dog that ends up grabbing Chibi, puppy Teshin, and like starts swinging him around while Kurojaki is angry.
Okay.
Right at the end of the Iga Koga.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Collie. Yeah.
Okay, so that collie dog that randomly appears to enact revenge, right?
That just shows up.
Yeah. I have no idea, but it is hilarious. And you do imagine that there could be and should be some sort of spin-off. I imagine that story has never been told, unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Like the background there. But that is a great scene, though. I do love that scene and that whole arc. But very random, very Deus ex machina sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows the answer to that question.
No,
as
no.
Why?
Yeah.
See, from Vix, any thoughts or any quick thoughts on GDW compared to GNG?
It's hard to give quick thoughts, but to try to do so. I definitely think the Silver Fang is the better one for various reasons. Gingad and Setsuida, I've only seen the anime, I haven't read the manga. Does have some issues in my opinion. The ending is very weird. Comes out of nowhere with how they handle the main antagonist. But I do still enjoy it. It does have some great music pieces. It is exciting. I do love the horrible scenes with, and I mean like horrible in the torture porn sort of way with, I don't remember the name of the dog that gets his jaw broken to sort of fight for his kid. That is pretty heart-wrenching. I think they pulled off that great, and it does have some great stuff like that. Overall, though, I do think Silver Fang is superior, but yeah, that's something else I would love to, as mentioned previously, touch on in some future videos once I've worked my way through what I have planned.
Some. Have you ever been to any UK conventions?
Trying to remember. No, I haven't. I have been to the UK. I visited some friends there. I've actually played a concert there twice in the UK, which was fun. Since I also do music, but I haven't been to any like conventions there. They haven't overlapped with my visits there, but I would definitely be open to it. And I will likely go to the UK again to at least visit friends and stuff in the future. So maybe I could combine that with the convention. With I know Confuzzled and Scotia Con is over there, and there are probably a bunch of anime ones that I don't know of. And I can mention, while people are thinking of potential questions, that I did also have a conversation with the main voice actor and producer for the Norwegian dub of Silver Fang. That's the guy who I covered during the video, or like show a bunch of clips in a row with the voice sounding very similar. Who also has the voice of Uncle Scrooge in Norway, Harald Mæhle, that's his name. That's one of those strange Norwegian letters in it, Harald Mæhle. But I organized a conversation with him to ask him a few questions about Silver Fang. So he was the one, doing like a third of the voices or something like that in the series, and was also responsible for the actual production. But unfortunately, he didn't remember too much of this in particular, like nothing he could really answer. Like my main question that I mentioned in the video is, why does the first volume have a completely different voice cast from the subsequent 3 volumes? What happened there? But unfortunately, he didn't remember and couldn't give an answer. And he did recommend for those types of questions that one might want to ask the people involved with distribution, those more on the business side of things, I guess, those who like decide to actually bring the series over, since how it works is that you usually have a distribution production company like that that licenses a series, and then they sort of commission, they go to teams of dubbers and get them involved, so they're sort of at least one step removed from the initial process. So could be maybe some people who worked on that side of things would be able to answer that and give answers about other things also regarding the dubs, but those are harder to track down, of course. They're more, works more in the background. They're not as visible or as audible as voice actors are. What is great guy. It was a lot of fun talking to him, and I was planning on recording the conversation, but of course, tech stuff, and it didn't work. And he was also a bit flustered since his maid was coming not long after I called him, since my call got a bit delayed due to the tech stuff. And he worked on a crazy amount of stuff during the 80s, and he said it was sort of the Wild West for VHS dubbing and releases here in the North, and probably most other European countries as well, I imagine, with these groups of dubbers doing a crazy amount of work.
Yeah, I know that in Finland it was a similar story where one of the main voice actors, who I believe passed away recently, he was also responsible for kind of bringing the show over to Finland. I am blanking on his name, and I'm not sure I could pronounce it correctly either.
Yeah. And there was the one article in the Silver Fang Network magazine, interviewing. Is that the voice actor that passed away, or is this another one? Oh, okay, that's
Yes,
too
it
bad.
is the one that passed away. Yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
What was his name again?
Gunnar Ernblad.
Well,
Okay,
I think that was one of the Swedish ones, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, that was a Swedish one.
He was the one that. Yeah.
That was a great interview. Recommend anyone who hasn't read it to read that one. And
I know the most recent magazine, we also have a little like memorial article too.
Okay, that's cool.
Well.
Yeah. And I was hoping with the interview with Harald Mæhle, the Norwegian voice actor, that maybe I could have turned that into an interview, but since I both didn't get to record it and he didn't really remember too many juicy details about the actual production, so it didn't really have enough material to warrant anything like that, unfortunately.
The person who wrote the articles is raising their hand.
Oh, awesome.
Jorgen?
Yeah, hi, hello.
Hello.
I'm mostly just lurking here tonight because I got other obligations, but it was Gunnar Ernblad. He passed away in October, sadly. I've been trying to compile everything. We talked for about almost 3 hours. So I've been trying to compile everything he told me about the Swedish dub and how they brought Silver Fang to the Nordic countries. But I have a lot of notes, a lot of things to go through, but I'm hoping to be able to
okay, awesome.
Put it together and perhaps also maybe talk a little bit more with you about the Norwegian side of things.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've already spoken a bit in private about this and other stuff, so I'd love to speak more about that. And if you need to get in touch with him or get in touch with him through me or something, if that would be relevant, and I would love to see what you compile once you finish that work.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while, but I'm doing my best.
Yeah, awesome. And great work on the interview, on the article you did.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, they're all very, very interesting. Thank you for contributing those to the magazine.
Yeah, no problem. It's a lot of work, but I imagine it was a lot of work to put this video together too.
Yes. Yeah, it was
very good editing, like very fun to watch.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that, and I didn't manage to catch all the comments in the chat, but I saw a lot of positive stuff there, so that's very flattering and very nice to hear, since it can be it is a lot of work, and it can be a bit discouraging if you release something and it gets very little engagement or response, but I think this video has gotten like an okay amount of response overall, and it's great to hear that people are appreciating it and hopefully learning a few things that they didn't know. Though there are a lot of people here who know a lot more about the Gingaverse than I do.
Yeah, there's always like, we're all big on collaborating, like the Discord
Mm.
Ginga board. There's so much info.
And I will probably be bothering poking people again on both the Discord and on Ginga board about questions and stuff as I'm working on these videos.
Yeah, there's
So,
definitely members from all over.
Yeah.
We have some people who are from Japan even there who are able to answer some of our questions about different merch releases, and yeah, there's everyone. So
Yeah.
many people.
Yeah, so apologies in advance if I ask a lot of dumb questions.
All right, well, we are about out of time, so I'm gonna stop this recording so we can switch gears, but thank you so much for
And-
sharing this. You were the only person who submitted a panel, actually,
Okay,
so everything
awesome.
else is kind of by me.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so
Very
much for
appreciative.
thank you so much for letting me speak and for organizing this whole event. I'm hoping it will become an annual thing. It would be very cool, and hopefully more people will be submitting stuff.
Hopefully. All right, let's switch gears then. All right.